Hey, 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 this is Evolve WMMA, and I'm your host, Shelly Devine. So, my next guest is a professional MMA fighter who has appeared in organizations such as, oh my God, the list is so long. You guys should just check her out on Wiki because it's seriously long. I mean, it's like Elite XC, Platinum Fighting Productions, Fatal Femme Fighters, Tough Enough, Extreme Wars, Titan Fighting Championship, Raging Wolf, Kick Enterprises, Extreme Fighting League, Show XC, Fight Hard MMA, West Coast Fighters, X1, I'm probably missing something, World Events, True Fight Fans, and International Fighting Championship. And that's not even all. Not even all. She was the reigning champ of Invicta FC, and then got called up to the UFC last year, fought Cyborg, and she's doing even other things outside the cage. She's a serious badass. We got Tonya Evinger in the house. She's driving to Louisiana right now, and she's here with us. Welcome to the show, Tonya. Okay, so you thought I was going to forget about Invicta FC, huh?
Yeah, definitely. That was one of my best runs. We don't want to forget that one.
Yeah, you had an awesome run with them. I mean, you were the reigning champ. You left there. You got called up to the UFC. But how you left there wasn't, your typical way of leaving a promotion. You had that rematch against Yana Kunitskaya, and she, I guess, really didn't want to give up that belt, but you were the obvious, dominant winner, and came off of it. But you had to deal with some, shit talk and whatever. What
Yeah.
happened with that?
Uh, I just think that I don't know. I think she's batshit crazy. I don't know. I think that reality just isn't part of her game plan. I think that she really thought she won that, and um, what I think what I did was something that was super hard and something that you haven't really seen happen, for a commission to overturn something like that. So for me, it was like a big milestone in the sport, a big step, uh, a step towards our sport growing a little, not being so egotistical and stuff, and the commissions kind of giving in a little where, we still got commissions today that are so hard to work with. They just make life hell for the fighters and the promoters and this and this and this. And, it's just nice to see the commissions stepping up and taking the fighter side and making what's right. So for me, I just wanted that rematch and to do it again. It wasn't like I was trying to run and, not give her a rematch. Obviously, I wanted to kick her ass. So, it was definitely going to happen. But, I think it's still going on, still the all the talk, but, not for my part. I don't really care. I think people are like pushing, like, we need to fight again, like some kind of match, like it might go either way. And I don't know. I want to slap the shit out of some people, but, I mean, if they want to pay me for an easy fight, I'll fight that girl again. That's ridiculous, but I will fight her for the money. Yeah.
That's awesome. I like how you say that. If you want an easy fight, I'll fight her again. I, I mean, I can't help but chuckle about that. But for our audience, if they don't remember, you had put, was it knee or foot on her face to using it as a defense?
Yeah. First, I do it all the time, and I go knee on face just to get my elbow out. And once my elbow's out, I step up on the face, and that's where I get my extension. And it's impossible to get an armbar when somebody's standing on your face. And I think that people are so stuck in like the rules and this and that. And, the way I think I just look at things different. And, if it ain't illegal, it's legal, and I'm going to use it. I'm still in a street fight almost, like, you know what I mean? Like, I realize there's some rules and stuff, but the way I grew up at home, pretty much the rules in MMA, I wasn't allowed to do in a street fight anyway, or my dad would slap me silly. So, it's not any change from a basic fight with my little brothers or some kid on the street. So I'm just in there doing what I know how to do, and I'm unorthodox, and I think people have a problem with that, and they question everything I do, and I don't know. I think they just think I'm a turd and don't know how to fight because they don't realize what I'm doing, but I swear I've thought all of this through, and they're all real moves.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was great when I saw it last year, and I thought it was great when it must have felt really great to be vindicated after that fight and know that you went in and you beat her and it was a solid win, and then just coming out of that and then moving on and getting called up, like it was like a month or two later we had talked about possibly getting in the UFC, how they've kind of, dodged you a bit. And then you had, what was it, Megan Anderson, dropped off the fight and they're like looking around like, who do we got? And everybody's saying Tonya Evinger, and you took that fight. And I mean, it was awesome. I mean, how did you feel about it when you came out of it? And, leading into it, the whole experience, because it was your UFC debut. I mean, that's like the largest promotion really to get on as a female fighter. I mean, what was that like for you?
I think the whole process was something I was prepared for this time around. I think that when I did the Ultimate Fighter, I wasn't prepared for the situation and how it all went down. I think that, that was a lesson learned, and, I wasn't able to compete on that show. Just like, I'm that person that can't, like, things have to be right for me to be able to be my best. And if things are going wrong, I think you see it in my work. So for me, it was something that I was already kind of prepared for. And I knew of course, they're going to give me my first fight in UFC. Of course, it's going to be Cyborg. You know what I mean? So it's not like I ever planned on them doing anything nice for me in that sense, so, but for me, it's like, I can't let myself be scared. I refuse to let myself be scared. So the whole time going in, I'm like, man, I'm going to whoop her ass. I'm going to beat her. Y'all laughing at me, but I'm going to beat her. And, I think what it came down to is, me training. I stepped in for Megan on the Invicta card, and I went up. I was going up to 45. So it was me, like, training for a fight that was going to be probably my easiest fight of my whole career. I think that was literally the easiest fight of my whole career. I was about to go into at a weight class above that. I wasn't even trying to cut any real weight or get bulked up or anything. I didn't have to be bulked up for that girl. And then getting a call 3 weeks out and being like, you want to fight Cyborg? And I'm like, fuck, now I got the biggest fight of my career. And I got 3 weeks, which only really adds up to 2 weeks because I got to go out there a week early. And it was like, now I know I got to fight somebody that's literally cutting like some real weight, and they got some real pounds behind them, and she's going to put that back on. So now I got to figure out a way to hold my weight up high enough to where I'm cutting weight for 45 and to be able to put it back on too. And that just didn't happen. I think I put maybe 7 pounds back on. I lost, I'm sure, some of it before the fight too, just because of my metabolism, but I just had the wrong weight on me. I just had kind of sloppy weight, just try to keep my weight up. I was just eating whatever I could instead of having an 8-week camp in my lifting program to match the type of fight I am, in my training program to match the type of fight I was going into. It just wasn't enough time. And I don't think that, I just don't think that I performed the best I could have. And I don't think that I'm a turd, and I don't think that I should have fell down to my knee, and I don't think that they should have stopped it so early. I mean, I didn't have any marks on me. I could take a little bit of damage. People don't beat me up because I'm hard to hit. I move around a lot and stuff, but
yeah, you were definitely rolling. You were rolling with those punches. You definitely rolled with them. And I mean, I'm just curious, people have often said about her, her hitting them, they're like, holy, shit, it's like a freight train. I mean, you got hit. What was that like by getting hit by her?
I don't think the punches were anything. I mean, obviously she hits harder than the girls fighting, but I think I do too. So, like, majority of the girls fighting just don't hit very hard. I think that the guys in the gym hit me just as hard. So by no means was her punches going to knock me out. It just wasn't going to happen. Yeah. But that knee hit me once or twice. It finally got me in the temple, and that just kind of short-circuited my legs a little bit. But I don't know, man. Just let her beat me up on the ground a little bit. Maybe it's the way I kind of went down covering up. I don't know. I just can't even tell you. I mean, it was just, I don't know. I handle good in really pressurous positions, and if they would have let her hit me a couple times, I would have figured it the fuck out, and I would have got up, or I would have figured out how to get control to where she wasn't hitting me. Like, I don't know. I mean, there's really no excuse. Whatever, I lost, but I will take that rematch with the full camp and, just do my best to try to get that W back or do what I can to, put on a way better fight. That's how I feel about it.
I mean, it's been a while since you've actually lost a fight. I think you have like, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 losses or something way back. And so, going into that, you knew it was a hugely tough challenge with a short fight camp in preparation for that. And dealing with loss, how did that affect you now? I mean, you haven't fought since last year, and you've had an injury. You've been doing a lot of other things, but say you didn't have the injury, and going into what's next for you as a fighter, how will this play a role in your next fight? Having that loss, and how does it make you hungry? How has it motivated you?
I don't like to lose. Obviously, I cried my eyes out. They wouldn't even let me go to interviews because I couldn't stop crying. And it's just disappointment myself pretty much because I know I can handle more than that and I can fight better than that and I'm just tougher than that. I just don't think that I think I'm disappointed in every performance I put on. I'm always like, man, I didn't fight the best, and it's different when you're out there and I know what I can do and what I don't get done in the fight. And I think that I was just disappointed in that whole situation. But man, I don't know. This next fight, I was excited about it. I just I don't think I hold on to the losses like some of these people, like it'll ruin their whole career and it kind of steals their ego and their edge and kind of takes away their whole career and they lose it just right out of their hands. I'm not that person that holds on to a loss so much that it ruins my career. I think I just, I've competed enough in sports and you win some, you lose some, and I get upset about it, and I'll cry about it a little bit. But at the end of the day, I'm going to get back in there and do it again. And I just feel like I can tell myself, like, I'm good at this. I'm really good at this, and it doesn't matter what anybody says or what happens. As long as I train, I know I'm going to do well. So I don't have that pressure anymore that I used to, like, put on myself. And I think a lot of fighters and stuff put on themselves. I just go in there knowing that I can perform if I'm in shape. As long as I'm in shape, I can perform. So I just think that man, that was such a horrible loss. I've never been put down, so that was just a hard one for me. But
yeah, I can imagine.
I wasn't out, damn it.
Yeah, right.
Could have just let her. If you're gonna whoop my ass, let her whoop my ass, man. Because I would have figured it out and came back. I would have figured it out. But either way, I'll fight anybody. And, I just think that I'm an easy match. I don't understand why they didn't just match me. They almost let me lay off about 7 or 8 months before they gave me that next fight. And I think that's crazy, man. I will fight anybody. We don't have anybody fight at 35. People are injured and stuff's going on, man. Pregnant people and this and that. I don't know. But I'll fight anybody. I'm an easy matchup as long as you can get somebody to fight me. And I think that was the problem. I think the girls see me as a little bit lower than them, and that's not the case. Obviously I'll fight you, and we'll see where everybody places. But I think that girls see me a little lower, and they just don't want to get that loss to me. So I think that that's why a lot of girls turn the fights down. So I think the matchups are hard on the other end than on my side.
Yeah, the rankings are a little messed up. They have you, I think, in the 135, like as ranking 4th, and then they have you. They don't even have you
145. They have me at 145 ranked 4th. They said they won't rank me at 35 until I fight at 35, which is ridiculous. All my fights are at 35. I'm like, how can I not be ranked at both? And they're like, you can only get ranked at 1. I didn't know that, like, I have to, like, fall into suit according to their rules. They should fall into suit according to the fighter. They're here to follow our careers. So if I want to fight at 3 or 4 different weight classes, I should be ranked in 3 or 4 different weight classes. As long as I'm competing, I just don't understand all that shit. I think that takes away from a lot of girls being able to move around and stuff, because I feel like I can fight 25, 35, or 45. As long as they're paying me to fight, I will go fight. Obviously, if we're going 25, I want a little bit more money because it hurts.
Yeah, right. Weight cut. Ugh.
Yeah, it hurt me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just, I mean, I don't get that. When I was looking at it, I'm like, I don't understand what's going on here. She just fought, the number one contender,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought when I looked, you weren't even listed on it was very confusing on the 145. Maybe you were, but on the 135 you weren't. And I'm like, why aren't
Yeah. Yeah,
they?
that's weird. That's why I was
Yeah.
arguing with
And
her.
I'm like, what is going on here? So when you had, you've watched is that what you will fight in? Are you looking to fight in the 145 in the UFC, or could you go to 135?
Oh yeah, my contract's at 135, and that's too. They said too that's the reason they didn't match me up, because I was signed at 145, and I'm like, no, I'm signed at 135. I took one fight for y'all at 145. The rest of my fights are at 135.
Oh, okay. Okay, well that clarifies a lot. And
Yeah.
then, I mean, if you do fight in the 145 again, you saw Holly Holm fight. How would you feel about fighting her, or Julia Budd, or even Megan Anderson to get to
If they
Cyborg?
pay me money, I will fight everybody. I
Yeah.
will fight everybody. I don't have. Everybody asks me who you want to fight next, and man, I don't know. I'm not chasing anybody. I'm chasing a belt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, they don't have no rhyme to their rhythm up there. They're just putting whoever they want into place and fight for this and that belt. I'm chasing a belt. I'm not chasing anything else. So, whoever stands in the way and whoever wants to fight me, let's fight. I fight for money. So.
Yeah. Which speaking of that, I mean, right now you have an injury. You just had surgery. Can you let us know? I saw that you had surgery, but I couldn't figure out what you had done, and I knew you were in a lot of pain. And I'm like, oh my God, what did she have done? So what did you have done?
I heard it getting ready for that Austin card that I was supposed to be on, that UFC Austin card. Just a guy in the gym, light sparring. Some random dude come in the gym. Don't know him. Never been in my gym. I'm on the last round. I have 5 of my training partners in there. This dude should have never been in the cage with me. I'm so particular about when I train, and I think a lot of people talk so much shit to me at the gym about, oh, this and oh, that. And, at the end of the day, I'm 36 years old, and this is my first time I've ever had to have surgery and a big injury like this, because I'm so specific about how I train and who I train with. And I'm not trying to get hurt, man. I'm out here trying to make money. And the longer my body lasts, the longer I'm able to fight, the longer I'm able to make money. That's what I want to do. I'm not in there to prove my ego in the gym. And I think that's what it came down to. He's my last round, and he gets in there and he starts swinging hard. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I've been going I was in Shark Tank, so I was going 5-minute rounds, and all my guys are standing out. So every 5 minutes they come in and switch on me. Yeah. And you're fresh. You literally just came off the street, and you're fresh. And he gets in there, and my training partner's like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm going in to spar. And I'm like looking at him and looking at my coach, not saying nothing. And I'm like thinking, maybe my coach knows this dude or something. Like, this is weird. And I should have said something. And I kept my mouth. And this is my fault, too. So, I mean, I should have said something. I should have refused to spar with him. But we were doing light sparring. I'm just starting to get my cardio back. That's all we were doing. And he starts swinging hard. And so I'm like, all right, this dude's trying to hit me. So then I start swinging hard. And then that fool kicked me so hard. And I'm like, fuck this. I'm not going to be like laid out, can't walk for 2 days because some idiot's trying to whoop my ass. So I just plan on taking him down and getting his back and just beating on him until the round's over. Well, I put him against the cage, and he was just so strong. He was a big dude. He just turned me off the cage and blocked my leg and literally broke my leg in half. My leg came completely sideways. I landed on it. My own leg and my hip landed on it. And it tore my ACL, MCL, LCL, meniscus, and broke my tibia off. So it was horrible injury. And I couldn't even cry. It hurt so bad. And like, I was so freaked out because I've never had to pull out of a fight. And the only thing, I couldn't even cry. I was just like, get my gear off. And my coach thought I hurt my pinky or something because I had hurt my hand really bad doing something. Maybe it caught on somebody or the cage or something. So I thought I like tore a tendon in my pinky. So he thought I was just being a baby about my pinky, which that bitch hurt too. So yes, I would have been crying if that would have been hurt too. Like, he doesn't understand my injuries. So anyway, he thought I was just crybabying about that. So he didn't say shit. No, I'm laid up on my own leg is wrapped up underneath me. Like, and I'm like, take my gear off, take my gloves off, take my gloves off. So they finally take my gloves off. And then I'm like, just like, I just didn't know, like, the pain's never going to go away. And I was like, there's no way. I already knew I was injured. And I was like, there's no fucking way I'm injured. No way. And I'm like, there's no way I can go to the doctor in this much pain. I don't think I can literally get in a car and drive to an emergency room with this much pain. It was so intense.
Yeah.
And so then finally, and I'm screaming, and I'm like, take my shin pads off. And they take all my shin pads, all my gear off, except for the leg that they blew out. They leave that one on. I'm like, take my fucking shin pads. And so I'm so pissed at this point. I stand up and I'm in the gym and I'm like, you all know I have a fucking fight. I'm training for a fucking fight. And y'all are fucking in here hurting me. Like I'm chewing the guys out. I'm pissed. And I think my adrenaline was rushing so much that I was able to stand up. I stood up and I just was like looking at my knee and I just couldn't believe it. And then I walked out of the cage down the stairs and I still can't believe I did it because there was nothing holding my leg together. And so after I kind of sat down and I was like standing, and I kind of let my leg dangle, and my leg was literally just dangling underneath me. There was nothing like holding it together. And so when I sat down and I kind of turned my leg sideways and my knee just fell right off of my leg, like just fell right off my knee. And I was like, oh my God. And that's like, I think when it finally hit me that like, man, I'm fucking hurt. So that's when I like started like crying and shit, because I'm like, man, I haven't fought in 7 months. This is my first real fight in my weight class. I just couldn't believe it. Heartbreaking. And so I probably cried for like 2 weeks over it. And then I go and I'm probably going to go in shock because it's hurting pretty bad now again. So it's been a long process now. So we had to go through 2 surgeries and shit. It's hurt pretty bad.
Holy shit. I knew it was, but I couldn't find where, you know, what the catalyst was, what had happened. And I feel for you because I've been injured that way too. And had a guy come in, random guy came in and then basically left. I had an ACL tear and then I re-injured it a couple other times. So I know how you feel about like, but I didn't have a fight. I didn't want to stop, you know, participating in my classes.
Right.
To be out of the training was huge. So,
yeah.
I mean, I completely empathize. And I think when I saw it and saw that when you were like saying you were still in pain, I was like, holy shit, what the hell happened to her? And I didn't even want to like hear it because I could feel it in my own body, what you're going through. And I'm like,
and I think I spent like a week before I told UFC because I was like, man, how can I fight? Because I fought with broken hands. I fought with my feet fractured. I fought Sarah McMahon, my foot fractured. I fought Vanessa Porto with a broken hand, with my elbows, all kind. Like I fought with so many injuries, and I'm like, man, how could I win this fight with? Because I just work around it. You know what I mean? All right, this hand's hurt. I can't. Don't try not to punch with this hand. Always happens, but try not. You know, I mean, I can figure out a way to win a fight, and I just can't figure out a way to win with my knee. It's just impossible. I just couldn't. It was literally just dangling every single thing, and it was torn, and my bone was broke. So I was like, fuck, man, I just couldn't figure out a way to win that fight. And I'm like, man, if I go in there and lose a fight like this, that, you know, I just don't think that they love me enough to give me any real good, you know, like.
There's no way you can fight with an injury like that. I mean, you have to fully recover and take the time to recover, which is a long road. I mean, have you started any sort of physical therapy? Do they allow you to get on a bike or?
Yeah, I started before surgery, and then the very next day after surgery, I was in rehab again. So, you know, I've been going to a lot of rehab. I just think that the first surgery, like just the way my body healed, was a little crazy. So that's why we had to go in surgery again. So I think that the first surgery kind of held me back from therapy, because I wasn't able to do a lot that I should have been able to do, but we were doing more than I was physically supposed to be able to do with how much, I mean, having to go to that second surgery, you know, with knowing that I was doing way more than I should have been doing. And that's why I was in so much pain, because I just thought I was being a pussy because all these people can do it. Like, why can't I do it? And I'm like, man, there's no way these people are tougher than me. So I just pushed through stuff, and then ends up, they're like, wow, you should never have bent your knee that far. And you shouldn't have went past this, and you're been into this. And they're like, you're going into surgery the very next day. So I just had to go right back in. And man, it was like a whole new leg when I came out of that second surgery. I was like, it's like a real knee, like worked like a real knee. It was crazy. But I don't know. At least I'm healing up and everything's strong, and I feel good about it. And And I'm like, when can I fight again? Because I just threw this event and I spent all my money on it. So I'm like, I need to fight. Like, when my physical therapist is like, I think you can fight 2 months. And I'm like, I don't think you understand what happens in a fight.
Yeah, no, they don't.
Somebody's going to twist my leg off.
Yeah. Have you tried any alternative therapies like acupuncture for pain or anything like that?
I have tried something. No, I haven't tried acupuncture or anything. I've tried, shit, I guess, no, nothing.
I
guess
would,
nothing.
anybody
My
that,
problem is I'm not good with pain pills. I hate pain pills. I can't take them. So I wait and wait and wait. And then all of a sudden it hurts so bad. And I'm like, oh my God. And then I'll take them because I have to. I'm just not a pill person. So it's hard for me to take any kind of pills. I can't even take vitamins. I can't take pills. So it's like I torture myself all day long. And then I'm like, well, I don't want to take them at night because if I need them during the day, blah, blah, when I don't even sleep any hours of the night because I'm in so much pain. And I'm like, why do I torture myself? Just take a freaking pain pill and go to sleep. And I just have such a hard time taking them. So I think it's my own, I torture myself a little bit more than I think the normal person should, but.
well, I have to applaud you. You're taking, total responsibility for all of it when maybe it's not really, completely all your fault. I'm like, I can't even help but be curious about what the guy who freaking injured you, what he had to say afterwards.
He's never came back.
Of course. I knew you were going to say that. I just knew
my training partners right after were like, you want to spar? You want to do some sparring? And then he's like, no, I'm done. I'm leaving. And he literally packed this shit up and left right after. But, I mean, it was an ego thing, and I don't care what anybody says else that was in there. I was in there sparring with the guy, and I know when somebody's going overboard and when they're being too much. Like, I'm just still, at the end of the day, I'm still a girl, and you're still that much bigger than me and that much stronger than me, and my technique's only going to go so far. Your strength is going to stop certain things, especially if you've trained before. And there's just certain things you don't do. Like, what he did is, there's nothing that's going to come out of that except for break my leg in half. And I don't understand. I see people do it all the time. And I'm like, what do you guys, I yell at my guys in the gym all the time. Don't do that. It's not even a move. You're going to break somebody's leg. Yeah. All the time. You're going to blow somebody's knee out. Stop doing that shit. It's not a takedown. And it's just like dumb. It's just like really beginner kind of moves. And that's why I say he shouldn't have been training with me. My coach dropped the ball. I should have said something. It's just an all-around fuck up from my camp. It really is. It's just my camp fucked up.
Yeah, that's so tough. But that's a real tough one to swallow, because that intuitive kind of response where you're kind of second guessing yourself when something like that doesn't feel right, but you're being polite. And you're like, oh, well, okay, I'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm like, it's like sparring. We'll just trade a little. I'll run. It'll be over.
Yeah.
Nope.
Well, I know, like, the guy that injured my knee, he came back into the gym and we were training again, and he almost blew out my elbow. And I was like, oh, I am not training with you anymore. Needless to say, he never came in. So you kind of like, did the universe put this guy in here to teach me a freaking lesson? Because I've never seen that dude again. And then another time I had this woman hit me with a machete, and, I was blocking whatever. She shit talked me afterwards with all other like black belts and stuff. And never saw her again either. But I have a good story about it. But like, I'm like, what the hell is up with that? It's really annoying. Right. So you're going through all this. Right. I mean, you had your leg broken, your knee completely blown out, everything done. You probably did you have cadaver, like a cadaver kind of repair for your knee, like with the ACL?
No, they used my patella for my ACL and just put some screws up in there and some stuff like that.
Okay.
By the time we let my MCL heal a little bit before we went in and had surgery, so the meniscus had scarred up in certain areas. So he didn't actually have to put the stitches in the meniscus by then, but everything else, he just fixed everything. And the second time he went in and just cut out the lining of my knee, and he said it was so bad. The second time we went in, he had to blow it up with fluid just so he can get the tools in there. It was so bad. It was bad. And I remember how much pain it was. And I called my nurse and I'm like, I need some pain pills. And they're like, you ain't getting no more pain pills. And I'm like, wait, what? I got like I literally got like 2 right now and I'm in so much pain. There's no fucking way. I'm in so much pain. And they literally made me feel like crackhead, and how they don't give this and that. And I'm like, well, you only gave me this much according to what you tell me to take. I should have been done with the last week, and I made it last 2 weeks. And they're like, we said take it as you need it. I'm like, I freaking need it. And so it's like they treated me like crap until I got down to nothing. And I called my doctor and I was like, I have to come in. And I went in and he just literally moved it around a little, touched a couple things. He's like, you're going to surgery tomorrow. And then he told him, and his nurses were like, is she, just got low pain tolerance? And he's like, no, like just with what was going on in my knee, I shouldn't have been at past 90 degrees. And we were forcing it to 120, just trying to make it go. And man, I knew something was wrong. I just wouldn't transition from one position to the next. It was so messed up, man. It was just such a mess.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I know that now with pain medications, they don't give out what they used to because of people getting addicted to them. But for you, man,
yeah,
for that kind of surgery, you need it. I had like my sister, she had brain surgery. This was some years ago. And I remember being in the hospital room and they would not give her anything. They said, no, we have to wait 24 hours. She was in agony. And they would not give her anything. And because she was swearing, they were kind of like, telling her to calm down. I'm like, get the kid out of here that doesn't want to hear this. Too bad. You're leaving her in pain. And then finally her doctor came in and gave it to her. But I'm like, are you kidding me?
The nurses were horrible. It wasn't until I seen my doctor that I got something done about it.
It's all insurance related.
Mm-hmm.
And government, whatever kind of related, which is kind of sucky on, for you because you're suffering that way. But one of the things that does help is acupuncture. If you can find somebody that's by you, and then
where I do physical therapy, they do something called needling. So I guess it's different from acupuncture, they say, but it will make your muscles. They can turn your muscles on and off. Like, I guess for athletes and stuff like that. So like if there's big problems with your muscles, like he said, it's different than acupuncture, but I thought about maybe let him do that. Cause before the second surgery, my MCL was so locked down that my muscle just wouldn't contract. I still can't hardly get it to work on the front top side of my leg. So, I think that it just like slowed me down so much that now I'm just really trying to play catch up. Because this is like a skinny girl's leg going on right now.
I
don't think my leg's been this skinny since I was like 9 years old, and I had a 6-pack then, so this is legit.
Yeah. Do you have a full brace, like covering the whole leg?
No, they gave me a pretty decent brace. It looks like a robo leg.
Yeah.
But
cha-ching, cha-ching.
My problem is wearing it, and everybody's like, oh, you aren't wearing your brace. And yeah, I'm supposed to be, I'm supposed to be on my crutches. I'm supposed to be doing this, but I just have a hard time being immobile, I guess. So,
well, it must be giving you time to, sit and be a little more introspective about what you want next. And I mean, you getting into the next phase of you being a fighter and now a promoter. How has, you just dealt with an injury at the same time and you put on a promotion. I mean, how is that?
And it hurt on both sides. It was good. We threw a great show in Houston, and we had some amazing fights. I'd have to say I'm the best matchmaker alive. Just going to put that out there. We threw a great card, a really great card, and we had some good fights. And, I wasn't as successful as I'd liked it to be, but I think we stepped on a couple toes, and that really, they really got the better end on this deal. But I just stuck sticking out my middle fingers, and we're going to try to do it again. And eventually it'll come around. But I think that, people had a hard time trusting me for this one. And I needed to prove myself, before you get anything from anybody when it comes to sponsors and stuff like that. So I think it was a little bit of an uphill battle on this one, but I feel like we did such a good job that we got nothing but great responses back. And man, I have to do something. I sit here and live off of my money and be broke by the time my next fight comes around, or I can, go ahead and blow my money and take a risk and do what we did. And then, try to figure it out from there and hopefully work myself into something for the future,
Mm-hmm. Well, typically, I think it takes maybe 2 to 3 shows or something like that for you to get any,
Headwind, yeah.
Sponsorships or something like that. But
Yeah.
I noticed on your Facebook page you were, looking for fighters. I mean, are you like just freaking
God,
at
it
it
was a
up
mess.
to here with them or what?
Oh my God, it was a mess with what the commission put me through was so unreal. It was so unreal. I understand why people don't throw shows here. It was just, I don't understand it either. It's like they make money by us throwing shows, yet they make it impossible for us to throw shows and impossible for us to make money. They like cut their own nose off to spite their face. It makes no sense to me. But, I just am not that person that, I just can't quit. And especially with how much trouble they did to like make it not happen. And I know it's another promoter that had a big, huge part in that too, like trying to cut my strings a little and ruin everything. And I just feel like, fuck him, man. He's not smarter than me and I just feel like he can't do anything better than me. So even if it takes me a show or two, I just feel like, we're going to get it done and we're going to put on a better show and have a better product in the long run and we're going to be successful. So I just think it was a struggle. Oh my God, it was a struggle. But the commission definitely made it really hard. And I think we're looking at some different options to see what we can do and where else we can throw the show and kind of, kind of make a little headway to better everything on our end and come back a little even so we can throw another big show.
That sounds wonderful. I remember when this was several years ago, we were trying to put on a show up here. It was actually before I got involved with some of the people that were just before Invicta came out. I was trying to put a show up here in New Hampshire and dealt with another, had an agreement with another promotion. They and then they backstabbed, and then another promotion came in, stole the site that we found and we're gonna use, and then the commission backstabbed us and told us we couldn't have a show.
Yeah, I mean, they did everything possible to make this not happen, and literally fight after fight, they didn't accept a female fight of mine because the girl never fought in Houston or never fought in Texas, even though she's 2-0 and has 2 sanctioned fights. They wouldn't accept it because she hasn't fought in Texas. That's fucking ridiculous. Like, you don't respect other commissions enough, and they're like, well, what if their rules are different? They do things. That's the same thing as the pros. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Every state that I go and fight in, usually there's some rules different. There's some way they do things different. We're not just dumb here, like I can understand the rule changes. I can understand all this. Like, I just don't understand where it's like it's like a dictatorship out here. And you have no respect for other commissions and no respect for anybody else to be able to let this kid fight. Like, I just can't understand the thought process of how they run everything to make it just so impossible. I mean, it's a huge state and there's no promotions like for this reason. It's just amazing. And then I know the one promoter that was hating on us. We threw a show at his venue that he uses, but it's a different building, a completely different venue, but same property. And man, I guarantee he had a hard time with us doing that. So he had a big part in like cutting our throat on this one a little bit. But my show's gonna be bigger than his, so he'll see.
I love the fact that you have the fortitude and you put your own money up for it too, which says a lot about what you're about as a person, and then too saying F you to the people that are kind of doing, the karma's going to come around, like it does, because the people that I can remember the people that kind of shut me down, and I didn't have money behind me. It was like I had to raise money and everything to do it. Those people aren't even in business anymore. Like they have a gym, but they're not doing the promotion anymore. And I was like, geez, and I wasn't even like doing, I was trying to do an all women's thing. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't even see how that would be even, competing against theirs,
No, no.
on the other side of the state.
Yeah, I was trying
Even.
to do kickboxing, and I'm like, you guys do grappling and MMA. I was trying to do kickboxing. It just, I don't understand why everybody. I mean, in my shows too, the way we throw them, we build a big crowd. Like we draw attention to the general public about what's going on in the state too. Like
Yeah.
not just our show. A lot of people don't even realize there's fights going on in their city. A lot of people are just fans of watching UFC on TV. They don't know anything. So I think that they're just not understanding how like we build it. Like if we build a big enough community of MMA and supporters and this and that, there's enough to go around. The city's huge. I mean, the city's huge.
Yeah.
I went off my card. I made it for his card. Like I'm like, you're my main event. Like, what are you talking about? You've been on the card. It just blows my mind, and I don't know what he's promised them. He was telling people that my show was a smoker, and that we're all gonna get fined, and they're gonna lose their licenses and stuff. And I'm like, I'm a fucking licensed promoter. Like, you guys are assholes. Like, I'm like, I think you would know me enough to where if I was full of shit, you could at least see it online, or like I would ruin my reputation or something if I did something shady like that or something.
Yeah.
I just don't understand it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just think it had a lot to do with that. And, I don't know. We put a good show on though. So
Did
I
you
don't know.
have many people come out? I saw a couple guys saying, I can't believe there's not very many people here because.
Yeah, because we were so good. We had the commission only let us push tickets for 1 week. 1 week.
What the hell is up with that?
Yes.
They
held
setting you
they
up
held
to
my
fail.
license. They held my license until 1 week, and then they accidentally mailed it to me. And once I got it in hand, I printed my tickets, and they wouldn't let me promote it or do anything. So I had 1 week to send tickets. I got almost 1,000 people there, but if I would have had 3 weeks, I don't think I'd have a problem getting 4,000 to 6,000 people. I just do not have a problem putting people in a crowd. I got that many people there in a week, and I think that our problem was the time. Like, people can't change their plans. They got plans that weekend. I'm coming to hand you tickets on Monday. You can't make it on Friday, or Saturday. It just wasn't possible. They made it impossible for us. So, we lost a lot of money, but I think that the product we put out and the kickback we got and everything, I think was really good. And I seen a lot of my sponsors step up and everybody offer to like sponsor the very next show. And, I think a lot of people kind of seen what was going on and how it was happening and kind of felt for me a little bit. But, it's a risk I was going to take. So I took it.
Wow, you're really moving forward in, this year, a lot of challenges. I mean, you have a physical challenge. You just completed, you did get the promotion off the ground, but it sounds like it was an amazing, you got the boulder in front of you and you're pushing it up the mountain, and it's like it's not really rolling down the other side yet.
Yeah, it's a struggle, but I think by the next card, I think we made enough connections that by the next card, I think we're going to do things just so far out that, they try to make it impossible for them to really hurt us too bad, So I think we'll be good the next show. I think we'll be back on track the way that I know how to throw shows and putting big crowds in there. I think that I think I'll be right back on track. I just think that, I think that the first one with them having my license, they just had me by the balls. You know what I mean? So they held all the chips in their hand on that one.
Yeah. So for your injury too, I mean, is the UFC paying for your medical bills for that during your fight camp?
Yeah. Thank God, because I would probably be injured for the rest of my life. I'd be like, I can't afford that surgery. So I'll just live with it. But they're paying for it, thank God, and taking care of everything and doing the right thing. I think it's really cool and awesome that they're doing it. Thankful.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear that. I was wondering, how they handle that when you're in fight camp and you get injured, and because there's somebody, they're trying to get this union for, people that are, fighters that are involved in the UFC to, get better pay, and then two, to cover medical expenses and stuff. And I with the injury that you had, that type of injury, I'm like, oh my God, what are your medical bills like? And two, you just put up this promotion. So the money thing, the money flow as a fighter, as a MMA fighter, you know, you got to keep it coming in. It's not the same type of, you know, if you're a football player, you know, you got your pay, you know, for the year. You're as a fighter, and you're on, like, you know, that high of a platform, you think it would be a little bit better.
Yeah, I would love a monthly paycheck just to pay my bills, and then I'd be fine. And then I could just train full time. But yeah, that would be nice. But I don't believe that's gonna happen. Shit, UFC stopped giving away cards by the time I came in. I'm like, God damn it, can't even get a free car. Jeez.
So as a promoter now, how do you see that maybe you could change how that is for fighters? Because I know when I was trying to do it, I thought that way, like, how can you change that, you know, get away from the boxing commission. You know, I mean, you still have to deal with them, but get away from that mentality of how fighters get paid. You know, you have to be like the Conor McGregor or what, you know, to get a pay-per-view hit, and then that's the way you negotiate making money. And I mean, you're entertaining, like, to hear you, I mean, like, what was it, you know, I'm going to bring the sexy back in or something, and you know.
I told people in that interview, I said, if I win this, I'm going to take my shirt off and rub my boobs on the cage and seriously win. And then people start chanting, take your shirt off, take your shirt off. And I'm like, that was a lie. I was lying. Y'all don't want to see my shirt off.
But I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it's like bringing in that sort of entertainment, because I mean, you have to be an entertainer, and now you're on the other side of doing, you know, Indominus Fights, and you're seeing what it is from the promotion side, what they have to contend with. To get anything off the ground, to deal with the fighters and try to, you know, match make them, to deal with the commission, which, I mean, I remember how that was a real issue, and then still put on a good show, and then generate the revenue to have another one, and to pay fighters, because you want to be able to pay them. So I mean, have you thought about, like, you know, say your next show, and how you can kind of, I mean, you've already come through a lot of hurdles, you know, you've met the resistance, and now it's like, okay, what do you see? How do you see it playing out, say, for your next show?
Well, obviously, I think that I have a little bit different look because I'm a fighter, so I feel a little bit more for them. And my girlfriend really hasn't been around fighting until she, like, her first fight ever to come watch was me and Cyborg. So it's a huge step for her too, and kind of figure things out. But like, the way we're trying to do things is, you know, I like to treat the fighters well. I like to do a lot more for the fighters. And I know, you know, I know the promotions around here, that was a big thing when I first started building the card. Are you paying for travel? You paying for this? You paying for that? Of course I'll pay for that. I think I mean, you guys are out here fighting for me for free, and I'm going to take home every bit of money and not do shit for you, not even pay your travel, not even pay anything. And I think that's so ridiculous. Just to think about that, I think is so ridiculous. And you see some big promotions doing that, and, you know, not to drop any names or anything, but you do. And I think that it's just crazy to I mean, you guys are making good money, and you guys are a big promotion. You're still making fighters pay their travel to come out there and make you money. It just doesn't make any sense. And nobody has any sympathy for the struggle. And these amateurs, it's hardest for, you know, they don't get sponsors. They don't get paid for the fight. They don't get shit. They got to pay their gym dues because they aren't a pro yet and making the gym money, you know. Their struggle is so much harder than a professional struggle, you know. And I think that people don't understand that. So, you know, I try to make things as easy as possible. I pay for their hotels. I pay for their travel. I'd like to give them some per diem, or what I can do. Like, me and my girlfriend were just going over everything today, the thing, and it's just, it's just so hard. It's so hard when I want to do these things, but then I mean, just getting everybody else on the same standard and the same level I think is going to be just too hard to do anything right at this moment, like when you talk about a union. But for me, man, I don't even care what anybody else is doing. I'll treat my fighters right, and they'll feel good about fighting on my card, and I won't have no problems with them backing out and them not getting their medicals and not doing what I wanted them to do, because at the end of the day, I'm giving them tickets for their friends and family to come watch for free, where you get a couple people to come because they got to pay, and the rest of your family can't even afford it, So I try to treat them the best I can to make it worth them fighting on my card. And I appreciate the efforts they put and making me, successful and be able to get some money back for my promotion, So I definitely have a little bit more sympathetic like thinking when it comes to them. So I think we're on the right track. I definitely think we're on the right track. Whichever way we go with the next show, we got a couple different options. I think that's going to be the difference of what we can offer them for this next show. This show, I did everything I could, and I paid their travel, and I paid their hotels, and I paid for what I could, and they were happy with that, and we'll just build from there and try to give them more and more and make everybody happy.
I got to applaud that, because I know how hard that is. That's a major struggle, but I'm like so psyched for you. I was so psyched seeing it, and I love the logo. I love the name.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, really. How did you come up with Indominus Fights? The name.
We had a name that was super badass, and I was at the bar with my buddies, and he said it, and I was like, I'm gonna write that down, but I can't write it down in front of him because can't let him know he thought of the name of my promotion. So we forgot it. And then we were trying to come up with some names, and my girlfriend's niece came up with that name. And I kind of just took a couple different options to the gym, and everybody kind of threw a vote out and, picked that one. And so we went with that. And a buddy of mine that does all my logos for my T-shirts and my banners and all that stuff, he did the logo for our promotion and stuff. And, man, he just does great work. And he does all my stuff for free. And I literally, if I wouldn't have had the help that I have, so many people do things for free for me. And the announcer came out from Missouri for free to do the show. My design guy did everything for free to help us design my posters, design my everything that we needed designed. My printer guys did my shirts and stuff. My family came out. My girlfriend's family came out. We did this with like a handful of people, close friends and family, and put a huge show together. And, man, if I didn't have help from all these people, I wouldn't even be here today fighting. I mean, people have put in time and effort and money and everything for me to be a success, and I just, it's because of them, so I'm just out here trying to use it wisely.
Yeah, well, it's because they love you, and they respect what you do, and they respect who you are. That's why they're there for you, Tonya. Yeah. I mean, it's you do a lot of great stuff for other people too, and you have big dreams, and you're taking a lot of people along for the ride, and I think that's a great thing that you're doing. You're inspiring people. So the last time I talked to you, you were single and kind of, had a little crush on, what was it, Laura Sanko, and now you have this new beautiful woman in your life, and can you tell us a little bit about how that kind of all transpired?
You know about the Laura Sanko thing. That's why I just looked. No, I'm just kidding. I like flirting with those girls that are attached already. So there's the girls that you can't get a hold of. Yeah, man. Me and her have been friends for about a year or so before we started dating. So we get along really well. And I don't know. There was, I guess, issues and stuff, or maybe we thought that we wouldn't work out for each other, but we ended up we're perfect for each other. So, and she's super hot, so that works for me too. But other than that, she's great. She's perfect for me. Seriously.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And she, it looks like too, she's come at right time where you've had a lot of challenges and hard times. And so you guys are testing the relationship. I mean, you make it through some of this stuff.
You ain't kidding. I really thought, I saw her during the show and I was like, she's going to have a breakdown. a couple of times she's like, I need my anxiety medicine, get it out of your truck. And I'm like, I got to go get it. And I get so sidetracked. And at the end of the night, I'm like, she probably told me 3 or 4 times. And as soon as I leave her sites, people are coming at me a million different ways. And she's all over. And I'm like, fucking, the things that she took care of, I just took care of the fighter side and the show side of it. She took care of the concessions and all our employees and everything, all the money and all the tickets and everything you could think of. Like, just amazing job, for the first time, her really being involved in like the sport in any way, you know what I mean? So she handled it super well. And we just get along really well. We don't have fights, we don't argue about nothing. We just get along super well. So it just works perfect. And she ain't afraid to work hard and stuff. So it works out, and we came together and did something great. And it really kind of like, it's motivating, for both of us, but we obviously got to find ways to make it happen again, and to get all the necessary things, cash money, to make it happen again. But other than that, it was good. She did really good, and she helped me do amazing things last weekend.
That's awesome. It's awesome to have that support system that close to you. That's really great. I can't help but wonder where you are, not the normal type of, promoter. You're not the normal type of fighter, or classical kind of, what do you think that you run up against some of the resistance that you've had because of your choice in lifestyle? I mean, we see now, we're just seeing, women relationships. In the men's professional sports, there generally isn't men who are openly out, in a gay relationship. You are. Amanda Nunes is with Nina, and there's some other ones that are up here. I mean, Kayleen Medeiros is she's planning on getting married to her partner. And do you find that there could be some resistance from, say, the commission, and why they held out a little bit longer to give you your license? Or, I mean, was that lurking in the back of your head a little bit? Or, have you kind of sensed any of that, or no?
Oh, definitely. My girlfriend tries not to be gay around certain people because she thinks it's going to, hinder us from certain things. So I have to act like a gay girl that doesn't know her. Because obviously people know you can look at me and tell I'm gay. But no, the funny thing, one of the commissioners that worked our show, she's married to a woman. So I don't think it had anything to do with the commission. That was straight up just hating from another promoter that I think had that inner ties with the commission, and with them just wanting to make things difficult for us. Aside from that, everything else, absolutely. And I think that I'm the only female out here trying to throw shows too. So I think that was another thing, that people don't really trust. Have these guys that I see them sponsor female or male fighters and the other promoters all day long, and they just are like, nah, I'm good. I'm just like, it has to be because of some reason, like either I'm a girl or I'm gay or this or that. But I don't care. I mean, I don't care. I mean, you can support me and support my show and just love what I do. You don't have to agree with what I do. But if you have fun at the show and whatnot, watch me fight or come to the fights or this or that, that's all good. I don't really care if anybody agrees with my lifestyle. I feel like I can't live with any kind of regrets. So I'm going to live the way I feel comfortable. And if people don't like it, then I just don't care. I mean, we can argue for a little bit, but that's just out of entertainment. But I don't care at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think that's a better place to be. It's like you're living your life, and you want to be happy, and you want to have joy in it, and that's really all that matters. And why other people care and want to stop or hinder that, I personally don't get it. So do you see, how do you see yourself as a role model for young girls coming up? I know you teach, and or young women coming up in the MMA fight game or training, or just even as a fan, how do you see yourself as a female role model to other women?
I think I'm a great role model. Obviously, I have a little bit of a mouth, but I think if you get past the little things like that, I think that I'm fine. I think that, I obviously, I travel the world. I do whatever I want. I compete in everything I try to do. I like just go after. I don't really, I college educating I do, and I'm usually, trying to be successful as much as I can and stuff like that. I think that I'm a good role model on that part. Obviously I think that I cuss a little too much, but and people give me crap because some parents will send pictures of their kids with my hats that say filthy and flipping the camera off and their little kids, and people are like, I can't believe you let your man. It's not. They're not like really flipping anybody the bird like F you. It's more like a. And then some people won't wear my shirts because they say filthy, and I'm like, I don't know what y'all think filthy means. Like, I don't think it's like anything bad. I guess it's how you look at it, but whatever. But I think overall, I think I'm a good role model. I do.
I think you are too. I love watching you and hearing what you say. I like that you're unconventional, big time. I love that gets, well, what is the saying? Well-behaved women really make history, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think
We're like, thank God she's on. We're trying to listen to her.
have you had any aha moments of realization, like during your training or even in this past year, where you had these epiphanies of, oh, that's what I should be doing, or that's what I learned from this, or, something of that nature?
You mean regarding like training and stuff?
Life.
Like just training? Oh, just in life? Oh, I have epiphanies every day, and I think I'm gonna got the next get rich scheme every day. I got a new idea every day. I come up with tons of time, the ability I want to do. I'm that person that wants to do everything, and I want to try everything out. I like that pressure of like challenges of things and stuff like that. And I just think that I don't have the means to do all these things. I either don't have, obviously a lot of things cost money. And, I thought about so many things I could do with this money that I won from fighting Cyborg. And, at first I was like, I'm going to buy a house and I'm just going to build it out and then sell it and make some money that way. But then, and I do everything that I'm supposed to do responsible, and I fuck it up to play sports. And so here I am, I have great jobs. I'll get really good jobs working for really good companies, and I stop because I can't stop playing sports, or competing in what I'm competing in. And so then that's exactly what I did. I had these opportunities to do so many different things with this money, and I chose to come in here and throw a fight, like to go in and do something where these kids just put another notch on their bedpost as a win, and everyone had fun. Everybody came out and had fun, and I paid for a big party pretty much. You know what I mean? But I think at the end of the day, that's just what I'm meant to do, man. That's what motivates me and keeps me going, and I enjoy doing it. So I think that no matter what, I'm probably going to just stick to doing the same thing like this all the time. So I think I'm just trying to accept the way, and try to stay focused on one thing.
And stay in the moment and follow your authentic kind of self and that spark that drives you. That's what it sounds like to me, which I think is a great thing. It shows too that a sense of fearlessness in the face of adversity. So I think last question. This is one that I'm probably going to ask everybody on the show is share a story when you felt inadequate or were told no because you were a woman, and then and it sounds like you've been dealing with that for a long time, so I don't think you'll have a hard time coming up with a story. And then how you handled it.
Oh gosh, so many things. so many things. Just growing up, I think that it's always, for me, it's always just been in sports. You know, I always wanted to play them sports that the boys played. Wanted when we were rodeoing when we were young. I think, you know, I'm the one that's done everything. My brothers kind of followed in footsteps. If I want to play sport, they kind of jumped in behind me. I was the one that wanted to do all these things and wanted to rodeo and ride steers and bulls, and it was the same thing. Then my brothers got involved and stuff and started doing it. But you know, it was like that back then. Girls couldn't do it. It was only for boys. And man, I would just get around. I would make friends with, like, you know, the guys throwing the shows, the contractors and stuff. Man, they just loved me. I would get in there and work my ass off and try to help, do everything and do what I could and stuff. And they liked me, so they would just let me ride with no name, no pay. They would just put a bull in the thing, shoots, and let me get on and ride. And then they would end up getting in trouble because girls weren't supposed to do it, which is so ridiculous. Same thing when I tried to play football in high or junior high. And it was so bad. I got in such a big argument over the football coach, and he just wouldn't let me play. And I was like, well, I'm just going to show up to tryouts. And he's like, well, I just won't give you any equipment. And I was like, that's such bullshit, dude. So, like, I ended up going to freshman year, and that's that football picture that came out of me. And my freshman year, the freshman high school football coach was my wrestling coach, and he was like, hell yeah, you can play football for me. So when I got in high school, I was able to play in high school, but I couldn't play in junior high. So, you know, I think I always kind of find a way around it. Even if I'm not supposed to do it, I find somebody that is like, yeah, go do it. So I usually find a way around it. But, man, it's like everything I've ever wanted to do growing up is always just for the boys. So I think here I am. I just constantly have to put myself in a position where I'm not supposed to be able to do things, and I got to just do them. I just got to prove that I can do them, you know.
Yeah, you were precocious. You sounded like, you know, like that kid that wouldn't take no for an answer and would,
Yeah.
you know, nag or whatever until you got
Drive
your
you
way.
crazy. I'll drive you crazy. Yeah. I'm going to do it. Yeah, that's me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You're still like that too. That's great.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Well, I'd like to thank you, you know, Tonya, for coming on the show. You're indeed a very exciting fighter to watch inside the cage, but even outside.
Appreciate it.
You know, on your Facebook page, you're always doing something really cool, or something's going on there, so people enjoy watching you, and respect the lifestyle too. And you have a lot of great fans. I'm one of them. Do you have any parting you know, wisdom that you like to share with maybe some of the other female fighters, or anything that you know, like maybe your own little commercial that, you know, is something that you'd like to end with today's show?
No, I never know what to say. They always ask me, and I'm like, I got to get something to say at the end of these shows.
I never know either, because I've been asked that too.
know.
I'm like, it's like, oh, what do I say? You know, like,
yeah.
got it all in the last, you know, hour.
Yeah, right. No, I guess not. I don't know. I always, I guess one thing I don't know, is I'm out here in Houston, so obviously, man, there's so many girls out there. I see them traveling around and training with all these camps and all this shit and all these other girls and stuff, and I just don't understand why none of them come and train with me. I just don't ever understand that. And I invite everybody out, like they can all come train and stuff, but I don't know why girls don't come train with me and try to learn a little bit of my style. I think my style is unique and different. But I think what it probably is, everybody thinks my style is junk, and I'm just getting lucky. They're like, that ain't even a technique she's using. But I don't know. I just throw that out there. If anyone wants to train when I'm healthy again, they come out and train.
That's awesome. I'm actually blown away by that, Tonya. I had no idea. I thought people did train with you. Like
No, I train mainly guys. I think Laura Howarth comes out and trains with me, but she hasn't been fighting for a year or two. She would come out and train with me all the time, and we would meet at certain camps and train together and stuff. But she's kind of like me. We just beat the shit out of each other and go home, and then get up in the morning and beat the shit out of each other and go home. You know, I think we just meshed well, you know. But yeah, man, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, because I think I'm a good teacher and good coach, and I think I'm a different fighter. My style is a little bit different. I think it's really dominating. I just can't believe a lot of people don't come and learn it. But my coach at my gym is pretty much teaching my style to everybody, which I don't really like, but I'll take it. Whatever.
Yeah, I'm blown away by that one. Wow. I wouldn't have thought that at all. I would think people would be, wanting to train with you and you'd have like a core little
Mhm.
group there of
Yeah, I have
female
people
fighters.
ask all the time, but nobody really commits, so it's weird.
Huh. Yeah, I'm like, that is weird because that
Yeah.
just doesn't make sense. You got to learn.
Anyway, it's open. Doors are open.
Cool.
Somebody
Well,
can
we're
train.
gonna post that on when I post this up. I'm gonna be okay. You
Okay.
girls out there, Tanya's open. She wants
Yeah,
to train you.
yeah, yeah.
Awesome. So again, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it, and I know
Thank you for
our
having me on.
listeners will too. I'd like so yeah, if you like what you heard today and are eager to hear more, remember to subscribe either on iTunes or at our blog, Evolve WMMA, or you can find us on Facebook.com/I love WMMA. This is for every woman who has been told no, but nevertheless, just like Tonya, she persisted and pursued the dream anyways. This is Shelley Devine. Until next time, thanks for listening.